North Uist is an island and community in the Outer Hebrides of Scotland. Gaelic, according to the 2011 census, there are 887 Gaelic speakers on North Uist. Geography: North Uist is the 10th largest Scottish island and the 13th largest island surrounding Great Britain. It has an area of 117 square miles, slightly smaller than South Uist. North Uist is connected by causeways to Benbecula via Grimsby, to Benary, and to Baleshare. With the exception of the southeast, the island is very flat, and covered with a patchwork of peat bogs, low hills and watchans, with more than half the land being covered by water. Some of the lochs contain a mixture of fresh and tidal salt water, giving rise to some complex and unusual habitats. Loch Scadabha, about which it has been said there is probably no other loch in Britain which approaches Loch Scadabha in irregularity and complexity of outline, is the largest loch by area on North Uist, although Loch Abisary has about twice the volume of water. The northern part of the island is part of the South Lewis, Harris and North Uist National Scenic Area, one of 40 in Scotland. Settlements. The main settlement on the island is Loch Maddy, a fishing port and home to a museum, an arts centre and a camera obscura. Caledonian McBrain ferries sail from the village to Wig on Skye, as well as from the island of Benary, to Leverburg in Harris. Loch Maddy also has Te Chiazabha, a museum and arts centre with a cafe, small shop and post office service. Nearby is the Uist Outdoor Centre. The island's main villages are Solars, Hoster, Tidbury, Huffory, Pable, Grimsby and Clydach Other settlements include Clachan Carinish, Knockn, Portnan Long, Griaintobt and Sculpaig, home to the 19th century Sculpaig Tower Folly. Loch Portain is a small hamlet on the east coast some 9 miles from Loch Maddy, with sub-areas of Cheesebay and Hubeg. According to the 2001 census, North Uist had a population of 1,271. Places of interest: North Uist has many prehistoric structures, including the Barpalangus Chambered Ken, the Pobble Fhin Stone Circle, the Ferb Bruges Standing Stones, the Islet of Ely and Dar Squared Mnail, and the Bale Sea Roundhouses, which were exposed by storms in January 2005. The Vikings arrived in the Hebrides in 800 AD, where they had large settlements. The island is known for its birdlife, including corncrakes, Arctic terns, gannets, corn buntings and Manx shearwaters. The RSPB has a nature reserve at Balewinald. Despite limited facilities, the island's athletics club has performed well at local, regional and national athletics competitions. Etymology: in Donald Munro's A Description of the Western Isles of Scotland called Hybrids of 1549, North Uist, Benbecula and South Uist are described as one island of Uist. Starting in the south of this island, he described the division between South Uist and Benbecula where the Endhoe of the sea enters, and cuts the Countree ebbing and flowing through it. Further north of Benbecula he described North Uist as this Countree is called Cenninach of Uist, that is in English, the north head of Uist. Some have given the etymology of Uist from Old Norse meaning west, much like Westray in the Orkney Islands. Another speculated derivation from Uist in Old Norse is Ivist, derived from vist meaning an abode, dwelling, domicile. A Gaelic etymology is also possible, with Ifest meaning crossings island, or Ford's Island, derived from I meaning island, and Fearset meaning estuary, sandbank, passage across at ebb tide. Place names derived from Fearset include Furset, and Belfast. MacIntyre Illai suggests that a Gaelic derivation of Uist may be Corn Island. However, whilst noting that the vist ending would have been familiar to speakers of Old Norse's meaning dwelling, Gameltoft states the word is of non-Gaelic origin, and that it reveals itself as one of a number of foreign place names having undergone adaptation in Old Norse. Population: in the 18th century the total population of the combined Uists rose dramatically, before the population crash of the Highland clearances. In 1755, there was an estimated combined population on the Uists, of 4,118. By 1794 it rose to 6,668. And in 1821 to 11,009. North Uist. The pre-clearance population of North Uist was about 5,000 and it has dwindled to about 1,300 people in 2001. From Horswell Smith except as stated. History. After the Norse occupation of the Western Isles, the Macruerites controlled the island. North Uist was granted to MacDonald of Sleat in 1495, and remained in possession of the MacDonalds of Sleat until 1855, when it was sold to Sir John Powlett Ord. Today the island is owned by the Granville family through the North Uist Trust. North Uist and the clearances equals. North Uist was hit hard during the Highland clearances, and there was large-scale emigration from the island to Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, Canada. The pre-clearance population of North Uist had been almost 5,000, though by 1841 it had fallen to 3,870, and has further dwindled to about 1,300 people today. The clearances occurred later on North Uist, which was predominantly Presbyterian, than on South Uist, which was mostly Roman Catholic. The main reason for the massive scale of emigration was the failure of the island's kelp industry. Since the French Revolutionary Wars, the kelp industry had been North Uist's main source of income. Though with the collapse of their main source of income, the crofters of North Uist could not afford the high rents. Even as the landlords reduced the rents, such as in 1827 when the rents were reduced by 20%, many crofters were forced to emigrate. The first real clearances on North Uist occurred in the 1820s. In 1826 the villages of Kyles Benary, Bailmheek Vale and Bailmheek Conan, located on the northeast corner of North Uist, were cleared of their inhabitants. Although some moved further east to Loch Portaine, most of those affected moved to Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. The effect of this is shown in the rental roll of 1827, which states that over 50 families had gone to America, meaning Cape Breton. As the economic conditions worsened and with reports of islanders succeeding overseas, the numbers of families emigrating from Scotland to North America greatly increased. In 1838 1,300 people from North Uist were recorded as being cleared. It is misconception that most families involved in the clearances were cleared from their holdings, though in 1849 there was writing as 603 inhabitants from Solers were forcefully cleared by Lord MacDonald. In the incident the women of Solers took large part in the rioting. As a detachment of Glasgow police officers advanced on the protesters, the Solers men were said to have stood aside, but the women of Solers stood up to the authorities, and pelted the police with rocks. The police then descended upon the Solers folk and attacked them with their truncheons. In fact, a Hebridean settlement in Cape Breton County, Nova Scotia was originally called Solers. North Uist surnames affected during the clearances were the Macauleys, Morrisons, Macadrams, Macquishes, and MacDonalds. Famous residents: the Scottish Gaelic poet Dar Squared Mhnall Ruod Cora to the First Nar was born on North Uist and lived his life there. Due to his vivid descriptions of his experiences in the First World War, he is often referred to as the voice of the trenches. Erskine Beveridge, LLD. FRSE, a textile manufacturer and antiquary and sometime resident of Valais, completed important archaeological excavations in the Hebrides. Julie Fowley, a singer and instrumentalist who sings primarily in Scottish Gaelic, was born and raised on North Uist. Alastair Morrison, former member of the Scottish Parliament for the Western Isles, lived on North Uist and was educated at Payable School. Flight Lieutenant John Morrison, 2nd Viscount Dunrussell, CMG, JP, diplomat and Governor of Bermuda, lived at Clocan Sands. Pauline Pryor Pitt, a British poet, lives on North Uist. Brothers Rory and Colm MacDonald, members of the Gaelic rock band Runrig, Angus MacAskill, largest true giant, and strongest man who ever lived from Benary, off North Uist. Footnotes. References: Balin Smith, Beverley. Taylor, Simon. And Williams, Gareth West. Oversea, Studies in Scandinavian Seaborne Expansion and Settlement Before 1300. Leiden. Brill. ISBN 978-90-04-15893-1, McIntyre Eli, Ian Amy and Elite Plus in Ames. Parilimaid na Chilba. Retrieved August 26, 2012. External links: North Uist Travel Guide from Wikivoyage, North Uist Local Community Website, Balranald Nature Reserve, Teichir Zebha, Explore North Uist, Papier Community Newspaper, Chisholm, Hugh, ed. Uist, North and South. Encyclopædia Britannica. Cambridge University Press.